Shell 360. My internet might be a little janky tonight. I'm just warning you ahead of time. I have been so incredibly busy this week. Like every single night this week, I've had an evening meeting and I'm freaking drained. So I thought I would try to do something to kind of not think about work at all. And I was thinking, what better to alleviate the sense of drama I have in my own life than to talk about somebody else's drama? So that's what I wanted to do tonight. I wanted to just scroll through the Not Medicine Buzz Twitter feed and see what's happening, what's up, maybe have some conversations. But before I do that, I wanted to discuss a little Twitter drama, if you will. Now, I have to say this. This Twitter drama has nothing to do with me. The person that I'm going to talk about, I don't know anything about them. I have never heard of them even. So, yeah, I don't take it as me being messy on her. Oh, hey, Jordan. Don't take it as me being messy on purpose because I have a vendetta or a grudge. I literally don't know this person. So there is a YouTuber by the name of Jen Solstice, I think is their name. And apparently they have a rather booming YouTube channel. I mean, much bigger than mine, much, much bigger. And there's some drama because I believe they have deactivated their Twitter account because they were embroiled in some mess regarding a group order, which group orders, I have to tell you guys, hindsight being 2020, there are very few people I would trust to do a group order with. There are some really great group order people out there that you can trust. They've got long legacies, they do nice things. But then there are other people who do group orders and it's just like, no, no, I'm sorry. I love myself too much to subject myself to this bullshit. And apparently Jen Solstice did a group order for Luna albums with I think my music taste, and there have been some problems, some issues, some double dealing, some dishonesty there, and people called them out and their response was basically to deactivate everything. And again, I don't know this YouTuber. It's not somebody that I follow, so I can't say anything about their content or their character. But I will say this. If you're going to be doing group orders out here, be careful. I know that when you are watching YouTube, you feel this kind of parasocial relationship with these YouTubers. Hell, some of you feel that with me maybe. And you're like, oh, I know them. I know their character. I know they would never be A, B, C, and D. But you really don't know anybody. Everybody's appearance on this platform is curated, except for maybe somebody who's got a 24-hour stream, like those 24-hour animal streams where like it's somebody's kittens and they just have a camera focused on them 24/7. But even that's curated because the camera doesn't follow the kittens around when they're out of range of the camera's field of view. So what I'm saying is you see what people want you to see. So you get me when I feel like streaming. You get other people's content when they feel like going through the process of filming and editing and everything else. That doesn't necessarily mean you know them. And because of that, you have to act right. Like you have to act right by yourself. Like you have to protect your money. You have to protect how vulnerable you're around people, the information you give them. If you're in a group order and they're saying friends and family only, tell them I will pay extra to do goods and services, but I've got to do goods and services. Like really protect yourself because these people out here, they don't mean you no good. They really don't mean you no good. I mean, I like to think I'm a decent person, but even I know that I fall short of the glory. So just take care of yourself. Really take care of yourself out in these streets. So O underscore Olivia High says before she deactivated her account weeks ago for being in different drama, and when she came back, people started asking for updates and she started giving attitude and being rude. See, so I'm saying, man, you just have to watch out. You just have to watch out. You, people have the best of intentions most of the time. Most of the time. But sometimes it gets to be too much and people are like, I'd rather just be a scammer out in these streets than do right. And so what are you going to do? But I was not going to spend all my time talking about that person because like I said, I don't know that person and I don't want to seem like I'm an authority on some drama that I have no skin in the game about. You know what I'm saying? So let's go through Netizen Buzz. For those of you who don't know, Netizen Buzz is this website on the internet that takes Korean articles and comments. Hey, Sasha. And they translate them into English so that people can see the opinions of netizens. And that's all well and good, except for that they tend to only translate the most trash articles and the most trash comments. And prior to her death, Sully and Guhara were both frequent targets of this website. So this website can suck my ass. So I'm going to be reading things from Netizen Buzz, but I'll be using the Twitter account, not Netizen Buzz, because they allow me to see the articles without giving Netizen Buzz the click or the advertising revenue. And I'm all about defunding platforms that I don't believe in. So let's start with this article. Ooh, this is a terrible one to start on, but I'll start here anyway. The first one we see is women testify that they were prostituted out of Sungri's home. A woman claimed she and another woman did not know that they were being taken to Sungri's house until the ride is over. I think there were 3 to 4 men, but I was looking at the floor, so I'm not sure of the exact number. I didn't see their faces. When asked if she saw Sungri there, she said, "No, I lost track of what was going on." Another woman, B, claimed that Sungri was there when she was taken into his house, explaining, "I didn't know that it was going to be Sungri's house until I got there." She revealed that they did not talk about anything other than her age and that Sungri paid for her taxi home. When Sungri's lawyer asked if it was possible that Sungri was not aware that she was a prostitute, she replied, "Possibly." So the comments that the netizens have are, why isn't he in jail yet? Just look at those eyes. What's wrong with him? Why can't he just admit to his crimes and screw off? Why must we be subjected to see his face all the time? Sigh, gotta go wash my eyes out again. Sigh. Geez, why live like this? So messy. I feel bad for Park Han Buell. It's crazy how they're trying to cut all connections to the crime. So are the prostitutes going to get penalized too? He gets dirtier and dirtier the more you dig. Listen, I feel like the Sungri issue for me personally has been beat to death, and I don't have anything new to say opinion wise about him. It sounds to me like this article, just to be fair, this article, the one woman, woman B, says, doesn't say anything about sleeping with Sungri or having him pay for her services. She mentions going there, not knowing what was going on until she got there, that they only talked about her age, and then he paid for her taxi home. And the other lady is saying that she was there with 3 or 4 men, but she didn't even know if Sungri was in the house. So for me, largely this article doesn't really say anything about Sungri other than the possibility that prostitutes, which I don't even really want to use, sex workers showed up at his house, one time while he was there, one time while he possibly was not there, and none of this says that he slept with these women. So I'm not going to make a big deal out of this article because, again, like I said, it really doesn't say anything. I think I'm more in line with one of the commenters, like, when is this going to be over? When are they going to finally decide what the hell to do? He's currently in the military right now. From what I understand, most of his cases are still open. And once he gets out of the military, we don't know how swiftly things are going to move. If they're going to get everything ready so that as soon as he gets out the military, they can just go ahead and finally get to the decision phase of things. But until such time that it's actually adjudicated, I'm just going to leave it alone because there's nothing new, nothing really insightful here. It's just more stuff piled on top of more stuff, and nothing is happening. So that's where I'm going to leave that at. Next, webtoon turned drama, True Beauty criticized for being overly cringy. So for those of you who don't know, Webtoon is an application you can download on your phone, and they are, I believe it's affiliated with the Line app, and you can read different web comics. And True Beauty actually happens to be a web comic that I read. I read it every week. And I have not watched the drama because the webtoon is not over yet. And it's in a really complicated space. And I just don't want to complicate my reading of the comic with wherever the show decides it wants to go. Because Cheese in the Trap is a great example of a webtoon being turned into a show and things going horribly wrong. And I'm not going through that ever again. Also, the art for True Beauty is a main draw for me. Like the storyline is cool. It's your typical kind of, a girl has a crush on one guy, but she's dating another guy. And, I'm pretty when I have my makeup on, but I have acne and bad skin when I have my makeup off. It's nothing to write home about, honestly. It's just in the beginning episodes of the series, it was really, really funny, which made for like a really good property to turn from a comic to a show, but nothing groundbreaking. Not the kind of story to be like, oh, wow, I've never heard of anything like that before. So what people are saying is, back in my day, we were all obsessing over boys over flowers. If you stay true to the webtoon, you're gonna end up with cringy lines. That is true. Someone else saying Moon Ga-young is too pretty. I was disappointed there wasn't a big enough difference of the before and after makeup. Now that I can totally agree with. If you ever read True Beauty, the way that the character looks in makeup and the way she looks without makeup are two different people. Like she grows a double chin when she doesn't have makeup on. It's almost like those viral videos they had of the Chinese women that would like peel their noses off when they were doing their makeup removal. Like her face is totally different. So it would be hard to find an actress who would look so different in ugly makeup and so different in pretty makeup. So I could see that being one that just it doesn't translate as well because it's not as interesting and it's not as like quick dialogue wise. So I kind of agree with the netizens on that one. Lovely Twin Twin says, I feel like some webtoons should only stay as webtoons. True Beauty is a good example. I agree with you there. So that's one of the articles. Somebody says, I never saw the original webtoon, so there were a lot of confusing scenes in the drama where I didn't feel the character's desperation at all. That is another thing. A lot of times when people are producing webtoons into television series, they assume that the people watching the show are familiar with the webtoon, and that's not always the case. I had never read a single panel of Cheese in the Trap when I watched Cheese in the Trap, so when I was like, okay, well, I don't like the main guy, tons of people who had been following that webtoon were like, but the main guy's the best character. And so, yeah, there's a lot that can be lost in translation from like print to screen. All right, let's go to the next one here. All right, this is one that I will need you guys to talk to me about because this one I don't understand and Mason tried to explain it to me and I still don't get it. BTS drama production put on pause due to complications with using members' names. So from what I was told by Mason, correct me if I'm wrong, because like I said, I really don't know anything about it. I heard about it and I'm like, what? That doesn't make any sense. Supposedly, Big Hit was going to produce a drama based on the storylines from the BTS videos. So like the I Need You Run, all those connected videos. They were going to produce a drama based on that storyline and they were going to use the names of the members of BTS. So it was going to be like Namjoon works at a gas station and lives in a boxcar and like that. Yeah, and Taeyeon killing his dad because his dad was abusive to his mom. And listen, when Mason explained it to me, I'm like, okay, so are the members of BTS going to be in this and they're going to be playing these characters? Like, and he's like, no. It's going to be different actors, but with the same names as members of BTS playing these characters from the BTS videos. And I'm like, well, that sounds stupid to me. Like, personally, that just sounds stupid to me. Like, first of all, why? What's the point? Like, I get that people would probably like to see the storylines taken to fruition. I've read enough fan fiction based strictly on the I Need You and the Run video for me to believe there's absolutely a market to finish off these storylines. But why use the names of the members? Because there's a lot of stupid people in the world, and those stupid people will be the ones who will be like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this is what was going on in their lives. And I'll be like, if Kay's daddy is can you please sit down somewhere? Can you please sit down somewhere? So yeah, I thought it was a weird idea from the beginning, but apparently it's been put on hold due to complications using the members' names. So this is what the netizens have to say. First one, of course, they shouldn't just be going through with the drama at all. Just scrap the whole thing. Next, a BTS drama without the BTS members, it was never going to work. 3, halt X, scrap O. I guess that means something. The next one, there are pissed off armies because Big Hit seems to be treating their fans like their clients. Another one, now what's all this nonsense about? Big Hit, do your jobs. Another one, people just love these bootstrap stories so much, and it's why autobiographies are littered with nothing but stories of overcoming hardship. What about all the stories of kids who grew up in happy homes and matured into happy people too? I don't feel like this was supposed to be a biography, so maybe this person is one of those people that, again, is missing the point. So I saw a comment just now in the live stream. It says, K-Armies are upset by them using the members' real names because the events that take place in the drama, it was most likely just for publicity. And Jordan Young says, I don't know, I think Big Hit is trying too much. The game was boring, and now they have a whole bunch of groups to focus on. Okay, so I'm not sure which game you're talking about. I assume you're talking about the BTS, the other game, the one where you can make stories with them. Okay, so let's talk about BTS and Big Hit and marketing. So Big Hit has done a lot to market BTS. They have inked deals for BT21, and that's a huge thing with Line Store where they do all the merchandising for that. They have, of course, albums and related concert merch. That's a huge deal. They've got commercials with Samsung, and they've got car commercials and all kinds of other things. But in addition to that, they've also got some less traditional marketing / revenue streams that they're using as well, and one of them being mobile games. They're really big in mobile games. You guys might remember the BTS rhythm game that was out a while back, Superstar BTS, which is no longer working, and don't know why. I guess because it was getting too boring to play. I don't know. So that was one of them. Then I played BTS World, which BTS World I still play. I don't know why. I play that game every single day. I've been playing that game every single day since it came out. It's just a really great waste of time. And then they have this other game, which I never downloaded, which is like this storyline BTS game that you can play. And I guess maybe it's to get people to want to play the game by being like, and this is going to be turned into a drama. But like, the storylines are so bizarre that personally, I wouldn't want to put a member of BTS's name connected with these storylines. I think I told you guys about when I first was playing BTS World, and I went through, there's 2 things on BTS World. There's the BTS World main story where you play their manager and you're supposed to help them get to concerts and record albums and stuff like that. Then there is the BTS Another Story, where each character has their own non-famous plot line. Namjoon's plot line was him being a detective to help solve the mystery of a police officer who's kidnapping children and killing them. And the guy who was a police officer who kidnapped the children ends up killing himself in the storyline. Like, I'm sorry, I just don't see a group whose platform is about love yourself and positivity and, you know, all these kind of other things wanting to be related to like this kind of melodramatic bullshit. Personally, I don't see it. But with all that being said, I don't know anything about the storyline game. I've never even downloaded it. I've never played it. But if you really like these storylines, if you really think that Greatest Moments in Life would be a cool K-drama series to do, just do it using different names. Just, that's all you have to do. Just use different names. Instead of Namjoon, use, Namhyun. Instead of doing Taehyung, do Taehyo. Instead of doing Yoongi, use Yoonga. Whatever you need to do to change it. But just change the names and say, the series inspired by the groundbreaking Greatest Moments in Life album series. Just say that. And there's nothing wrong with that. People do that all the time. It's like Prince's Purple Rain. That wasn't Prince's real life, but Prince was in it, and the whole soundtrack, the album, all that stuff. But like, just do it in a way where it makes more sense, and it's just not what sounds to me to be another cash grab based on pre-existing IP. So, and reading the live stream comments, it says, Sasha says the whole storyline thing was interesting up until a few years ago when they dropped it. Many new fans don't even know that it exists because they didn't go back to check. In my opinion, it's a little too late for that drama. I agree. I feel like the whole storyline arc was dropped when DNA came out. At least in my opinion. There are probably people who say that fake love is somehow tied to the previous storyline, but I don't know. I don't feel that way. I feel like pretty much that the whole thing is over. In fact, you can actually lodge a pretty firm argument to say that Blood, Sweat, and Tears ended that storyline. I liked the Greatest Moments in Life storyline. I thought it was really cute, but I was like, that's good for a couple of videos. I didn't want that to go on forever. I wasn't one of those fans. I wasn't one of the ones who was like making conspiracy theory videos and trying to figure out like, this means this and that means that. Also, like, to be honest, the material is pretty dark, because when people were doing theory videos, they're like, yeah, every member of BTS is dead except for Jin. I'm like, do y'all really want to have that kind of storyline tied up with a very alive group? Because the other hazard is, even if people watch that material and they don't automatically like, oh, this is the true story of the members of BTS, there are people who are going to take it into their mind to be like, oh, and this is proof that BTS suffers from mental health problems, and this is how it manifests itself. Because people do shit like that all the time as well. And I think that's really dangerous when you start putting certain issues in relation to an artist's name that they haven't themselves said, this is what I'm dealing with. So that's why I don't think it's the greatest thing to do. Sarah says Big Hit will not give up those Greatest Moments in Life plot lines. Sarah says unnecessary. Grace says it never made any sense why they were going to use their real names. I absolutely agree with that. It just, the real names is dumb. That's dumb. So that's that article. All right, let's go to the next article. This one I don't really know anything about. It says actress Shin Yeon cries in guilt over her dramas doing poorly back to back. So apparently she was in 2 dramas, and the dramas ratings got down to 1% of viewers, which is not good. That's not a good percentage. So she feels really bad about that. She feels like it's her fault because she wasn't doing a good job. And the netizen comments are actually pretty kind. They're saying, this drama isn't the fault of the actors. The scriptwriters just made it boring. Another one says, it's okay. These tears and the feelings of guilt will make you work harder next time and earn better results. It's good for you. And then someone else says, they didn't promote the drama enough. Keep promoting 18 again instead. So basically the netizens are happy with her. M Century says, I don't think a full series is necessary. They could do like 5 episodes. It doesn't really make sense to release a series now. All right. Let's see what the next one is. Oh, I'm so glad this is the next one because I could talk about this shit all day. Rapper Iron arrested for assaulting a minor with a baseball bat. So Iron, the rapper who has ruined some of my favorite music of all time, is involved in some more bullshit. One of my favorite songs ever, hey Evie, is Erased by Hyolyn and Joohyung. Joohyung has tried so hard over the years to act like that song doesn't exist and that he hates that fucking song, which all I have to say to that is, but Iron is on that song too, and I have tried my damnedest to erase him from my memory, but yet and still, here he shows up in the news fucking again. So here's the story. Iron beat a minor who was taking music lessons from him with a baseball bat for 20 minutes because A lied to him. During police investigations, Iron admitted to the assault and claimed that he did it for discipline purposes. What? Maybe I missed that class in child rearing, but how is it disciplined to beat somebody with a bat for 20 minutes? It don't even take 20 seconds really of beating someone with a bat. The fuck is going on with this asshole? And from what I have read on another article, apparently he accused the student of installing a virus on his computer. And the student's like, no, I didn't do it. It wasn't me. And apparently he got irate and decided to beat him the hell up. I agree. Who would take lessons from Iron? What music lessons? Fuck out of here. So anyway, also another favorite song of mine that he ruined was Jonghyun's Crazy. I hate the fact that he's on that fucking song. Fuck that guy. So these are the comments from netizens. First one. Didn't he have another assault case aside from his drug scandal? Jeez. Another one. This isn't gangsta hip hop. He's just a straight up gangster. Another one. His student? What is there to learn from him? Tisk, tisk, tisk. I agree. Next. Physiognomy is a science. I hate those comments. Every time somebody comments about physiognomy, I'm like, that is such a pseudo quack science. Quit trying to make that real. People use that all the time to talk about how like YG looks evil, so why should we expect him to not be evil? Next one says, he had a previous scandal, and at his young age, he's just a ticking time bomb. They should punish him so that he can never come out on TV again. Another one says, his true roots as a thug just can't be fixed. Does drugs, bullied classmates in school, got fined for assaulting his ex-girlfriend. He can't be fixed. Keep him in jail. So let's see what you guys have to say. So Esther says, thank God, put that bum in jail. Sarah says, isn't this like his third offense? Seems like the guy can't even dream of being a decent dude. Sasha says, South Korea really needs to change their laws. How is this person still walking free? Agreed. Sarah says he's not seeing the pearly gates. And Esther says, why would someone voluntarily get music lessons from him? I agree. Thank you. Thank you for the bless you. But yeah, I don't know why anybody would be associated with Iron at this point in time. His trouble started with drugs. It started with him getting caught with drug possession. He got caught with marijuana, and of course South Korea is like, hey, the drug thing, I don't care what kind of drug it is, we don't like it, you're going to jail. Which at the time I'm like, oh, I feel kind of sympathetic for you. But he also was like friends with another rapper, and they had done this one rap song that was super duper rapey, and it was kind of like, yeah, but you might be an asshole. So the drug thing, I mean, I'm not feeling it, but maybe you just need to go to jail for being gross. Then he is accused by his ex-girlfriend of assaulting her, physically assaulting her, domestic violence. Then it comes out that his family had been trying to bribe her to drop the charges, and then had been like slandering and bad-mouthing her and putting all her business out on the stream. Like, look at her Instagram. She's got her period panties showing. She must be a bad girl. How can you believe somebody who does stuff like this? And my answer to all that is, if she's such a bad bitch and she's just so horrible, why was Iron even fucking with her? Like, seriously, if she was just so awful and so nasty and so gross and no one should ever believe her about anything because she's just disgusting, what was your upstanding citizen of a brother doing fucking around with her for a really long time, to the point that they were in a situation where he could domestically abuse her? Obviously, something was there that he liked. And her putting her period panties on Instagram or doing bondage photos for the gram has nothing to do with him being allowed to put his fucking hands on her. Nothing at all. So already, as soon as that happened, I'm like, it's a wrap. Fuck that guy forever. Fuck that guy forever. It's one thing to be like, drugs, I smoke a little weed, leave me alone. I can get over that. South Korea might not, but I absolutely can. But putting your hands on somebody and then sending the entire internet out there to fucking gaslight and slut shame this girl, fuck out of here. We're talking about Iron, the rapper. So yeah, that is, fuck that guy. Fuck that guy. I hope he goes to jail for a really long time. I hope a lot of bad things happen to him in jail. I hope he gets a staph infection while he's in jail. I hope he gets hemorrhoids and it makes it hard for him to wipe his ass. I hope that his toilet backs up and shit gets all over the bottom of his cell floor. You know, all the bad things. I hope that happens for you. Good luck with that, friend. All right. Next, we're going to talk about this one, which is a good question. It's not directed at one particular person. It says, how much longer can TV shows get away without wearing masks on set? So you guys have probably noticed it. I know I've noticed it. In America, they're not filming as many television shows like sitcoms and things like that as they used to, because of COVID, because of the ability to transmit illness, you know. And I noticed in like Thailand and in Japan and in Korea, more and more people are filming with large crowds of people, no mask. Like more than 5 people, no mask. And recently, Chunga got COVID. So the question is like, how much longer can TV people be like, oh, well, we test every day before it's just like, it's too dangerous. You don't know what people are doing when they leave the set. We can't keep endangering the staff like this. So the comments from netizens are, whenever we watch Superman Returns, my kids keep asking me why they're not able to go on vacations and not wear masks, so I stopped watching it with my kids. That's really sad. I read an article today about a parent who was talking about the fact that when they're outside with their toddler and their toddler sees another family coming towards them, like when they're at the park or whatever, that their kid runs and hides behind their parent because, like, oh my gosh, it's people. Because toddlers are getting so used, like little 2 year olds are getting so used to not having playmates and not being around other kids and other adults that they're starting to get scared of people. And I imagine it is very hard when you're at a household and you've got little kids that can't go to school or can't go to daycare and they want to do all these things and they can't because of COVID. But then when you turn on the television, everybody else is living a carefree life as if COVID doesn't exist. So I really do feel bad for that. Like, that's a great point. Another one says, I understand that their profession requires them to show their faces, but it's hard for us viewers to relate when they're like this. To see them all in groups together without masks on just feels so out of place. Um, Another one says, it's hilarious to me that we're not allowed to get together in groups like this, but suddenly it's okay when there's a few cameras in front of you. This one is actually funny to me. So somebody says, so everything's okay for these TV shows as long as they put up the caption, all prevention measures were followed. So can we go outside without a mask on while holding the same sign too? That's kind of funny. That is kind of funny. So yeah, I think that's a valid point. Like, at what point does television need to resemble the reality that the rest of us are living? Because I mean, they make masks, like clear masks that you can wear, so you can still be on television wearing a mask. That's not going to be great for filming a K drama, but if you're doing variety, everyone on a variety show can wear a mask. You can put the mic inside the mask so that the sound isn't muffled. So like, these are things that can absolutely happen. But it's getting now to where people are getting infected trying to do music shows and everything else. So yeah, there needs to be better precautions, not the bare minimum, but like real precautions to make this stuff happen. All right. Oh, okay. So Sasha says TV shows in her country, they put the mask on. So see, it can be done. There's still entertainment to be had. Next, Junjin from Shinhwa opens up about his childhood with his stepsister. I had already read this article. I found this to be a super sweet article. I'm going to share it with you now. Um, Junjin Young reveals he visited his step siblings' graduation during Shinhwa promotions so they wouldn't feel lonely like himself. The little sister revealed, I used to be Oppa's treasure back then. We had a big age gap, but Oppa would always help me get to school. Unfortunately, I only got to live with him until second grade because our parents got divorced and I couldn't see him anymore. Despite it being his father's second divorce, Junjin still looked after his little sister. It was just me and my mother then, and she was too busy to come to my graduation at the time. Oppa had already debuted and was famous, but he still came to my graduation. Our school went crazy. I felt so thankful to him. It felt like, yes, I still have an Oppa beside me. Junjin added, our parents may have divorced, but I wanted her to feel that she still had me by her side. She also revealed, he was so good to me that I always assumed he was my blood-related brother. It wasn't until I grew up that I realized we were step-siblings. Junjin revealed that he found out sooner when he had looked up the family registry and didn't find her name. I was shocked at that time, but I didn't make it obvious because I didn't want her to get hurt. I felt like she didn't deserve any of this. What maturity for a kid to be like, you know what? She's not my blood sister, but she's young, and I'm not going to make a big deal out of the fact that we're not blood related because she loves me like a sister. I love her like a brother would, so we're just going to continue our family relationship. That's really, really sweet. So the comments on here are good comments. They're all good comments. First one says, he's matured into such a good person. Another one says, I didn't feel this about him when I was younger, but he seems like such a deep person now. Another one says, the reason people want parents to look out for their kids during their divorce is because these wounds follow them as adults. Whatever happens to a marriage, I just want the parents to pay attention to their kids all through it. Very valid point. This one says, Jinjin's a really good person. The whole reason the rumors about him going around to clubs and hanging out with girls all the time started was because he had an impersonator going around doing all these things, giving out autographs, but people believed it was him. Now, when I read that comment, like I said, I read this already. When I read that comment, I'm like, bitch, tell me more. So apparently, a long time ago, back in first gen K-pop, there was a man named Junjin who was a member of Shinhwa, and apparently some guy whose entertainment name is Boom, which means it's almost impossible to look him up. He was a young guy, handsome guy, and decided to cut his hair in the same haircut that Junjin had, wear very similar clothes, and would go out to nightclubs and be like, I'm Junjin from Shinhwa, bring on the free drinks, bring on the bitches, and would be in bars just cutting up, would be in there like drinking it up, not paying his tab, going home with girls having one night stands, signing autographs in exchange for drinks, like really was doing the whole thing. And later on, that person became popular. And there was like some variety show that he was on with like a friend from when he was a teenager was like, oh yeah, he used to do that all the time. Well, apparently while he was doing all this, the stories of Junjin from Shinhwa going to the club and acting a complete asshole were floating through entertainment circles, and people were like, oh, he's a bad guy. Can you imagine how fucking pissed off you would be? And then, like, if that person became a celebrity too, like, honestly, I'd be in the news again because it would be the first, like, on screen celebrity fist fight because I'd be like, I got hands for you. I got hands for you because you ruined my reputation. So I love a good story. I love this sweet story about him and his sister, but at the same time, he needs to get a full-on apology and money from this Boom character because that's some bullshit. You're fucking with people's careers. You're fucking with people's lives. Don't do some shit like that. That's so fucking underhanded. But yeah, the Shinhwa fans did not forget this because when you look at the quote tweets are savage. They are really mean. They are really, really mean. They're like, that comment about Boom, my despise for him grows by every single day. No, like, I don't know why Boom hasn't issued a public apology, though. He's so fucking shameless. I want to terminate him myself. End Boom's career. Give Jenny employments now. Yes, say it louder. The imposter was Boom. Now end his career. Boom wouldn't see heaven. That's why we can't watch shows with Boom in it. What trash. Yes, K-Net shitting on Boom. I love to see it. Like, the Shinhwa fans have not forgotten. An elephant never forgets. Not that I'm calling them elephants, but I'm just saying they have not forgotten, and they still got words. They still got a lot of heat for Homeboy, so he better watch his back. Anyway, keep going. This one is interesting because this is a particular subset of Korean culture. When you say his name, it sounds like a nicer censorship sound. Oh, thank you. So this one is about a particular area of Korean culture that I have no... I'm not familiar with nobody that does this, really, except for Geo from M Black. But controversial BJ streamers face the consequences of their online bad-mouthing as their daughter deals with rejection from private schools. So BJ in Korea does not stand for blowjob. It stands for broadcast jockey. And there's this Africa TV, but there's a few other like streaming sites where people are BJs, and they're famous for doing streams, and sometimes they're famous for mukbang streams, like that's the biggest one maybe, or they're famous for sexy streams, like, you know, beautiful women trying on bikinis and, you know, doing exercises in bikinis, stuff like that. Well, apparently this couple, it's a husband and wife team, and I'm assuming they must be at least old enough to have a kid. They're famous for like shit talking celebrities and different people. So, this is what their article about. After saying we're rich anyway, Incheon private schools cut ties with Wei Jil-hee's daughter. BJ Chulgu and his wife Wei Jil-hee were embroiled in controversy recently due to his derogatory comments about celebrities Park Mi-soon and Park Ji-soon's looks, which is rich coming from this guy who don't look like nobody's nothing, and also his wife looks like plastic. These are the people who have the nerve to talk about somebody else's looks. Have you looked at yourself in the mirror lately? Do you really think you have any room to talk about anybody at all? At all? Let us keep going. Don't get mad already, Samantha. It's too early in the conversation. They were in controversy recently due to their derogatory comments about celebrities Park Mi-sun and Park Ji-sun's looks. This has caused parent organizations in their city to petition against their daughter attending any of their private schools, leading to private schools privating their public profiles. So this is what the netizens have to say. What do we expect their daughter to have learned when her parents are always saying terrible things and instigating fights on their live streams? That comment has 9,000 likes. They are a great example of what happens when the uneducated come into wealth. That has 8,700 likes. Keep living like that. Who would you think will suffer the consequences of your actions? Now that is the comment that I agree with the most. Like, I don't understand how people with families continue to do bullshit stuff that they know can affect their kids. So, like, okay, Sarah says it, and Sasha says it too. So Sasha says, not fair to the kid, but when you have parents like this. And Sarah says they forgot they live in Korea. Korea is a country that is very filial. So, like, the family is the number one thing. If your family has a good reputation, you get a good reputation. If you have a bad reputation, it's seen as a shame to your family. And so, of course, people are going to say, oh, look at these parents. I bet their daughter is a bad kid. Even though this little girl could be completely innocent. She'd be like, I don't know anything about that. My parents do that for a job. And when we're together, they're nice. They teach me manners. I don't say mean things about people. I would never be like that. And because they're so vocal and public with their bullshit, they're not even thinking, like, our daughter has to live in the real world. And people are going to go up to my child and they're going to tell her really horrible things about me based on the things that we've said online. So, story from my real life. I thought I'd share it with you real quick. So, you know your friend Samantha's always looking for a second husband. And I happened to be on the phone with this guy at work, and he's telling me about his divorce. And usually when people are telling me about their divorce and want you to know they just got divorced, it's because they want you to know they're back on the market. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about? And I was talking to this guy, and he was like, yeah, politics has really been on my mind lately. I'm thinking about running for public office. And I knew he had two teenage boys, a 17-year-old and a 19-year-old. And I said, before you do that, you might want to sit down and talk to your kids. And he's like, you know, that's not a bad idea. And I was thinking to myself, are you dumb? Not because he wants to run for political office. That makes me know never mind. I just know that we can never marry because, I mean, I got this YouTube platform and I can't have people looking at me like that. But I was just thinking to myself, like, why wouldn't you think of that first? Like, of all the things to think about, why wouldn't you think about that first? You know, kids don't deserve the stress that they get. I don't know Barron Trump. I don't know Sasha and Malia Obama, but the attention that them kids get for doing absolutely nothing that other kids don't do is obscene. Barron Trump gets talked about all the time just for fucking being tall. And then Malia and Sasha, anytime they do anything, but oh my God, did you see Sasha is smoking cigarettes? Oh my God, did you see Malia's got long nails and is doing TikTok dances that use the N-word? And it's just like, sis, these kids didn't run for office. They sure didn't. Their parents did. Their parents chose to ruin their fucking lives and make everything present. These kids didn't have nothing to do with that. Why are we still talking about them? Why are we still up in their business? Their parents haven't been in office for a minute. At least the Obamas haven't. So why are we always in Malia and Sasha's face? And so, like, same thing. If you are out here and you're known for being a shit talker and a shit stirrer and being controversial, you should be taking every effort you can to hide the identity of your children, because people are going to take this out on them because they're easy targets. And there's a lot of people out there that don't have enough common sense to separate a child from their parent, especially in a country like Korea. So, like, I get why it happened. If they already have this mentality off internet money and clout, is it really no wonder why chaebols live gassed up 24/7? For real, for real. Like, when all that stuff happened on Korean Air where homegirl was like, these peanuts aren't being served right, get down on your knees and bow to me. Like, that happens with people who are fucking entitled to shit. And these people only got money off of being online for a few years. And they're acting entitled to shit. You know, rough day for their kid, but these people, I can't feel sorry for. I feel sorry for the kid. That's the only person I feel sorry for. And the kid might be a brat, too. Who knows? Next, Boa reveals she cut carbs from her diet. And the comments are not nice. Some of the comments are cool, but most of the comments are, like, kind of body shamey. First one, please watch out for your health. Okay. Second, she was already skinny, though. TT. Next, I think she looks better with some more weight on. She looks too old now. And you probably look like a troll, bitch. I love rice too much to be able to cut out carbs. Agreed. Boa Uni, you're so pretty, but please make sure to eat. Hoo hoo. I feel bad for her. What do you feel bad for her for? You feel bad for her because she's rich and beautiful and talented and has been famous for 20 years? Next, let's all diet with health in mind. That's agreeable. Next, I don't think her weight is an issue. I agree. So let's move on to the next article, because I have never thought about Boa and thought, oh, she needs to lose weight. That has never been in my mind. So let us move on. Next, Chanyeol to make appearance on Law of the Jungle. We're talking Chanyeol from EXO. And here are what the netizens have to say. First one, Chanyeola, please start acting your age. You're 30 now. What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Older people go on Law of the Jungle all the time. Next. So none of the rumors have been confirmed to be true, and what the victim is claiming is that Chanyeol had multiple relationships, but isn't that up to your personal morals to decide whether it's wrong or right? It's not like any of what he did is illegal. You can't just use it to try and take someone's career down. Please take this much interest in sex scandals happening in the political world. So, obviously this is a fan trying to defend him, but I feel like if you start out by saying none of the rumors are true, then you really don't have to say the next part about it's up to your morals. It's not like he did anything illegal. Because if you're saying, well, what he did isn't a problem, but none of the rumors are true, then he didn't do anything for you to even have to say whether or not there's a right or a wrong to what he did, when your initial opening statement is he did nothing. So, I mean, I'm just saying it's dumb. Somebody else says, who cares? It's his private life. Not like he did anything illegal. Next, seems like all people supportive of Chanyeol in the comments are SM fans, so why do you hate on aespa to death then? You know, not that it's related to this article, but not an invalid question either. Next, he hasn't put out an official statement since all those rumors came to light and clarified whether any of it is true or not. Showing up on a TV show like this just seems like he's looking down on viewers, like, I don't care if you know or not, Key. What? How do you take it like that? How do you take it like that? I mean, if somebody says some shit like Samantha was spotted on Mars dancing with a bear, I would feel like that's so damn ridiculous. Why do I need to even address that? Because, first of all, what the fuck am I doing on Mars? Secondly, what am I do dancing with a bear? You know it's not true, so why should I have to say anything? Now, granted, the person who started this rumor worked really hard to Photoshop a lot of shit to make it seem like this was real. It even had me on here talking about it and being like, well, you know, sometimes people be hoeing. But at the same time, I just don't understand why anybody would decide that him going on a television show is a shame, since he has these unresolved, outrageous rumors out there. The rumors don't regard him assaulting anybody, don't regard him doing any drugs. All it is like, he was my boyfriend and he cheated on me with multiple girls. Also, whoever it was that did this and decided to like write this all up because they're a Chanyeol auntie, they're also a Sehun auntie, because they were like, oh, and your gay best friend, which that didn't even have to happen. That did not even have to happen. So that's what I'm saying, like, find something the fuck else to do. Next. Oh, this is a nice one. Sunmi reveals her gratitude for her stepdad. Sunmi tears up while revealing her stepdad. He raised us 3 siblings even though we don't share a drop of blood with him. That's nice. It's always nice to hear about people who, like, their second family becomes their forever family and that things work out really well. And the comments here are nice too. They say, it's so lucky to have met such a great dad. What an amazing and kind person. Next, it's really up to luck in life to meet such a great stepdad like this. I hope he lives a long and healthy life. Next, Sunmi's birth father must have sent this great stepdad to the family to protect them. So it sounds to me, based on that statement, that perhaps her bio dad passed away and this was her mother's second marriage, which, if that's the case, good looking out for her mom to find somebody that would treat her children correctly. Another person says, Sun Mi-eun is so kind, so great to see. Sunmi's kindness built up the luck to meet her stepdad. How heartwarming to hear. So that's really nice. It's always nice to see those kinds of stories, because you see a lot of other stories that are really terrible. You see stories about people's birth parents that are just horrific. I mean, look at Guhara. I hate to have to say her name again in this broadcast, but I mean, it kind of relates. Okay, next. EXO's Kai's sparkly hat draws attention on stage. Would you like to see the sparkly hat they're talking about, friends? It's this fucking sparkle do-rag. It's not even a hat. It's not even a hat. It's a fucking do-rag. Oh, gosh. Okay, so let's see what netizens have to say about Kai's do-rag. Someone says, yes, Kim Jong-un managed to pull the hat off, but let's not do this again, SM. Another one says, I was hating on the hat because it looked like mermaid fish scales, but Kim Jong-un says he liked it on his live stream, so I won't say anything more about it. A true fan. Next, beautiful man, looks good on him. Another one says, where do you even get a hat like that? Did they cut it off another piece of clothing? I kind of feel you on that. Another one says, Kiki, oh man, this is a bit funny though. Another one, what is SM Cordy doing? Another one says, I want to fight Isuman. Another one says, maybe I'm getting old, but are kids these days into fashion like this? Another one says, SM, please stop trying to do stuff like this, Kiki. I don't like the do-rag. I think the do-rag is ugly. It's my personal taste. I don't find it attractive. I wouldn't find it attractive on a black American person. I wouldn't find it attractive on a white person. I don't find it attractive on Kai. I think it's a stupid look. And I don't know who on SM's fashion team is like, this is what we need to go out the house in. But yeah, it's a dumb look. It's a dumb look. But SM is always doing some shit like this. So are we surprised? In the very least, not at all. Next, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but let's talk about it again. Chungha tests positive, criticized for attending birthday party. So apparently Chungha tested positive for coronavirus. She says, I was careful, so I'm sorry. But I guess they're saying that they think that she got it attending a birthday party for Mina. And I don't know if the other people at the party tested positive or not, but, you know, unfortunately, Chungha is a celebrity, and she's a celebrity who's currently promoting music. She was actually one of the first celebrities in Korea who had a staff member that tested positive for COVID, but luckily she didn't get it from that staff member. So you'd think that with having someone close to you, like proximity, having had COVID early on in the epidemic, and you trying to promote music during the epidemic and knowing that you need to be safe and cautious in order to be able to perform without a mask on and be around other celebrities, that you wouldn't do something like this. But that's the thing with like this COVID bubble stuff. People assume that my bubble is safe because I only see these people, and they don't think about who else is in somebody else's bubble. So like if me and Tina are in our own bubble and Tina's a part of my bubble. I'm like, well, I only see Tina and I only see Stephanie. But then Tina's like, well, I only see Samantha and I only see Cherie. And Cherie says, well, I only see Tina and I only see my boyfriend Phil. And Phil's like, well, I only see Cherie, I see my mom, I see my dad, and I see a couple people at work. All of a sudden, my bubble consists of all of those other bubbles. So now my bubble is a caterpillar train. And I think that's something that really Chunga should have been more careful about. But on the flip side of that, COVID has got us so lonely out in these streets. We are so fucking lonely. And I think people are at the point where they're like, you know, I'm willing to risk it all just to not die of loneliness. And I'm not saying it's right and I'm not saying it's worth it, because it's never worth it to endanger your health. But at the same time, it's a thing that people are doing born out of like just being human beings. And so I would hope that she would do better, but it is what it is. So the comments are saying, no need to be sorry, just follow self-quarantine rules and get better soon. And that had 2,800 likes to 100 dislikes. The next comment that has 700 likes to 85 dislikes says, there's a difference between catching the virus because you were out when you weren't supposed to and catching it because you were working, TT. Catching the virus because you were working hard is not a crime. Get better soon and come back with good songs fighting. So this person says, funny how people are so selective with whom they choose to excuse. When someone anonymous is in the news for catching the virus, the comments are always like, stay home, stop going out. But when it's someone famous like this, they're so busy defending them. And this person says, Chunga was at Gugudan Mina's birthday party in a pandemic? ? In a pandemic? Kiki. Farewell, I won't be seeing you out far. What a way to ruin your positive image overnight like this. Another one says, people are so harsh and critical when a case came out of a Yonsei University birthday party, but when a celebrity catches the virus at another celebrity's birthday party, no one says a word. Another one says, this is disgusting. I heard she caught the virus because she attended a birthday party, but she conveniently left that part out and ended with an apology. Kiki. That's gross. Yeah, see. That's why I say, like, it's highly irresponsible for her to take that chance. But at the same time, I'm sure she's tired of being quarantined just like the rest of us are. But she has the luxury of being quarantined with access to all the entertainment, all the delivery food, all the everything that other people don't have at home. If she wanted to put her hands on a PS5, she absolutely could do so. So with that in mind, I mean, I feel bad for Chunga, and I absolutely don't want her to have long-term health consequences of catching COVID. But at the same time, I feel like I do expect better from her. So we'll see what happens. Hope she's safe. I really, really do hope she's safe. No matter what, I don't want to see anything bad happen to her. Next, 2020 mamas criticized for bizarre virus prevention measures. So if you haven't seen the costumes from the mamas, I'm just going to show you a little gif of one of the helpers that would come on stage between presenters to sanitize the area. I don't know if you can see it well. That girl in this silver costume with this green hair and this face shield on. It was like COVID, but make it fashion. You know, her clothing matches the set, and it is interesting to see, but it also is very weird that that's the choice they chose instead of just a regular hazmat suit, you know? And also, like, they chose a girl to be in a skin-tight outfit to do this too. Like, why weren't there any guys in skin-tight silver leotards with their junk all bunched up doing this job, huh? It smacks of a little bit of sexism. I'm not going to lie about that. So the comments say, what, Kiki? I'd understand if she was wearing a hazmat suit, but dressed like that? I thought this was a joke. Another one says, wow, that's a staff member? Mama deserves the criticism for this one. Another one says, I don't know why even outfits like this have to be sexualized. Why not just wear a hazmat suit? Why make it so tight? I just really don't get it. Are we still in 2000s? This is the reality of women's rights in Korea. And as somebody just said in the live stream, and they were wearing high heels too, that again, it does smack of sexism. Like, why do you have women out here in skin tight fucking silver bodysuits and high heels on trying to disinfect microphones? That seems stupid as shit. But you know what? Whatever. It would have made more sense to have like essential workers doing this as a part-time gig and like lab coats and stuff. That would have been cooler, because then also been like a nod to the essential worker. So yeah, it's trashy that they did that, but it's the mamas, and the mamas are not known for class. Let's not act like they are. um this one's a kind of, this is an article I really don't want to read. It's about a celebrity hiring a private musical performance for their kids at home. That doesn't really matter to me. This one is interesting because it's scary as hell. It says criminal Chu Do-soon's cellmate gives harrowing details of his current mental and physical state a week before release. So 68-year-old Chu Do-soon can do 1,000 push-ups in an hour, caught pleasuring himself, set for release from jail on the 12th. Chu Do-soon's roommate revealed in an interview that he's capable of doing 1,000 push-ups in an hour, that he's currently very toned and fit. He also masturbated because he felt a sexual energy from the electromagnetic waves coming from the TV and CCTVs. Now, this guy is a well-known criminal in South Korea, and people have never understood why his sentence wasn't a life sentence, but that's because when it comes to crimes against women, the punishments are not great. So he's coming out of jail. He's out of jail now. And so people said if he was sentenced to life in the first place, we wouldn't have to worry about all this. Another one says, as a parent of a daughter myself, this is really hitting home. Shouldn't he at least be castrated? I agree. Another one says, I wish someone would just quietly kill him off already. Another person says, all because of the judge's decision, the entire nation has to live in fear of this criminal. Another one says, unless his surveillance officer is Ma Dong-suk, I doubt any average officer will be able to handle him one-to-one. Another person says, I hope he catches the virus when he gets out and dies from it. So he raped a young girl so bad that it almost killed her. I'm sorry, I should have said trigger warning. I apologize. But he assaulted a young girl, like just tore up her insides, almost killed her. And I think he got just a few years. And that ain't right. It's not right. And South Korea still has laws that make your state of mind, if you acknowledge a certain state of mind, you get a lesser sentence. So there's this video I saw of this guy beating his girlfriend. Like, they got in a fight, she hit him, he proceeded to like slap and punch the shit out of her. She falls on the ground, he kicks her while she's on the ground and walks off. When the police try to find out who he is, they find him and he says, oh, I was drunk and that's why I did that. And the police, oh, you're drunk? Oh, then there's no problem here. Unless she wants to pursue charges, there's no problem here. And it's just like, how is drunk a passable thing? You have a choice to get drunk, and no one should be able to use I was drunk as an excuse for things. Even if being drunk makes you a more belligerent person, even if being drunk makes you more ready to want to fight somebody, that's still something you have control of, because you have the control of getting that drunk. You can stop yourself before you get that drunk. So why do they create circumstances to where you can get out of real trouble because you're fucking drunk? That's just, that grinds my gears. That fucking grinds my gears. Next article. Rapper Chillin' Homie leaves Show Me the Money 9 due to his panic disorder. And I really appreciate that the comments are not mean. They're actually nice. People saying anyone who has never suffered from panic disorders will never know what it feels like. I was rooting for Chillin' Homie, so I'm sad to see him go, but I wish him more success in the future. And most of the comments are that way. He's a cute kid. I would not have gone for the under the eye tattoo, but still a cute kid. A cute kid. He kind of reminds me of my nephew. But yeah. Anxiety and panic disorders are really tough because you never know what can trigger them. Like sometimes you can identify some of your triggers, and then there's other things that you absolutely can't do anything about. And I imagine being on the set of a show like Show Me the Money with all these like really intimidating personalities and, you know, loud noises and everything else. I imagine that's enough to trigger a panic disorder with somebody who has that pre-existing condition, or being the catalyst for developing that kind of condition. So I wish him the best. I hope things work out for him. This one is student who wore hazmat suit to college entrance exam reveals he kept it on during the whole test. That feels like a really good way to cheat. So I'm not going to talk about that one either. And there's some more things on here that more produce tradies revealing how they're aware of the rigging that was going on. A Super Junior promo that got in trouble for labeling the EC as the Sea of Japan. Sunmi responding to criticism of her right to be a judge on Sing Again. More people talking about how students are having to take their entrance exams this year, but they're scared because of coronavirus, which totally makes sense to me. Test takers confirmed for the virus to take tests in hospital rooms alone. Test papers arrive. So even if you got corona, mom and dad are like, I know that hospital bed can sit up, baby. Time to take this test. Oh man, this is such a rough time for students. Such a rough time for students. I think I'm done with all the Netizen Buzz stuff. I've read an hour's worth of it. So if you'd like to read more, go to the Twitter page for Not Netizen Buzz. And that'll be a way for you to keep Netizen Buzz from getting money from some of the bullshit that they do. And I'll talk about another story that wasn't on Netizen Buzz, but it was all over my timeline, so I'm going to talk about it here anyway. Everybody had a lot to say about the fact that Jungwoo from NCT smoked cigarettes. Listen, I had two parents who smoked cigarettes. I now only have one parent who smokes because my other parent is deceased. And cigarettes, I don't like the smell. I don't like the taste. And I don't like the fact that they are chock full of carcinogens that you can easily opt out of if you just never begin smoking cigarettes to begin with. So I'm not mad at Jungwoo for smoking cigarettes because I don't feel like him being an idol means that he's not allowed to ever do anything wrong. I'm just disappointed that he's choosing to endanger his health in that way because, yeah, it's not good for you. And as a performer, I mean, it's got to impact your lung capacity. It's got to impact your ability to, you know, breathe while you're doing stage performances. So I'm not mad at him for the act of smoking. I'm mad that he is choosing to endanger his own health, but that I'm not even really mad about that. I'm just sad about that. I feel like as a young man, maybe he doesn't realize the impact that cigarette smoking can have on him in the long term. But the thing that I found to be frustrating was that so many people who are fans of Jungwoo were like, we need to clear the searches. Nobody can see these pictures. We need to clear the searches. Only put good things. And this is the thing. Every single time someone clears the searches, all it does is make people want to find out more of what happened. All the time. Never fails. Like, honestly, I would not even have heard about his smoking pictures if he hadn't been on trending for K-pop. And so I'm like, oh, why is he trending? Let me go look it up. And of course, you see, clear the searches, guys. So then underneath it's like, what are we clearing the searches for? What's going on? Why are we so upset? What are we trying to hide here? So it's like, for something like this, with some smoking of a cigarette, just don't. Just, it'll blow over so fast if you guys just don't talk about it. But the more you try to talk positively to hide something negative, the more people want to know about what the negative is. And the more you make it a trending topic. You know, Hendry, I don't know why idols with SM insist on doing reggae hair, dreadlocks, cornrows, all these really awful hair decisions. You know, But at the end of the day, I also couldn't pick Hendry out of a lineup. So I don't really have a right to get super mad at him because I don't care about him in that way. I mean, I can definitely say as a black person, I feel like it's poor taste, but in terms of like being, you are my fave and I can't believe you did this and I'm never going to buy another NCT album. Like, it wouldn't be me just because I don't think of him that way. But yeah, SM is always staying with the bad hair decisions. It is a mark of being an SM idol that you have to make at least one bad hair decision in your life as an idol. Hell, even Taemin had like baby dreads for a photo shoot. So it's just, I feel like just like they say, no dating, it's also do at least one mildly offensive cultural appropriation thing. So with that being said, I think I've wrapped up. I've gotten to the end of this. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you. The last thing I want to talk about real quick. I did a video right before this one, which was a quick therapy bite, and it was about love languages. And I had somebody that downvoted that video. Now, I'm not going to go back and check the upvotes and downvotes because once I identified that, I was upset in the moment and then I went away. And I guess the reason I was upset in the moment is because I did a video trying to help people feel better and somebody got mad about that and I can't figure out the source of their anger. I can only assume it has to do with the fact that I referenced the 5 love languages, and there are people who feel like that is Christian propaganda, which I've said on before on my channel. I am a Christian, but I'm not one of those people who's like, you have to believe what I believe in order for us to be friends, and if you don't believe what I believe, then go away. I'm not one of those kinds of people. I mean, I respect everyone's personal religious decisions. But I utilize the 5 love languages for that discussion because I don't think that there's anything wrong with trying to figure out your emotions, which things turn you on, which things turn you off, which things make you happy, which things make you upset. Identifying your triggers, but also identifying the things that give you warm and fuzzies is important for anybody. And so with that being said, I don't know why that person downvoted my last video, but I'll just say this. Anytime I do my quick therapy bites, I never do it claiming that I'm a therapist. I never do it with the intent that everyone who listens to me is going to do what I say and that it's going to work for them. I just give you examples of things that have helped me along the road because especially in the midst of COVID, I think we could all use some ways to kind of depressurize, try to take the stress off of ourselves. And these are things that I feel like are helpful hints or are things that you can do, just little things that you can do to try to make it a little bit easier for you out in these COVID streets. And if somebody misinterprets that as me trying to start a cult or me trying to be a self-help guru or anything else of the sort, you are woefully misinformed. I am literally trying to be a help because this is all I can give you guys. I can't give you anything else. I can't give you money. I can't pay the bills for people who have been out of work. I can't put food on the table for people who are struggling from day to day. I can't do a lot of things that I wish I could do if I had more resources. All I can do is try to aid you in getting a peace of mind or a little bit of mental reprieve in these times. And that's what I'm trying to do here. And if somebody takes it the other way, I'm sorry that you're taking it that way, but that's never my fucking intention. My intention is always to help. My intention is always to be, kind if I can when it comes to stuff like that. Now I get messy like everybody else. I just spent an hour being messy. But when I'm doing my quick therapy bites, which I label quick therapy bites, I always do that with the intention that I want people to feel good because there's so much in this world that wants you to feel bad. And if anything I'm saying helps someone get to a better place than they were when they started the video, I've done my fucking job. So with that being said, thank you guys for joining me for this live stream. I really appreciate you being here. And